Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, the city opens the first standalone hydrogen station in the country. We'll take you to the grand opening of this alternative fuel landmark.
And the fire department trains for the upcoming brush fire season.
Plus, once divided but soon together, we'll tell you why Fern Elementary will have a united campus.
Then local students get a special delivery in honor of Armed Forces Day. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. Torrance is once again at the forefront of green technology. The long-awaited hydrogen station is now open, and Torrance will serve as the test model for zero-emission cars throughout the country. Reporter Jacqueline Shepard has more.
Fuel cell technology is viable and ready for the mass market. Toyota plans to bring a fuel cell vehicle to the market in 2015 or maybe sooner.
The first step to achieving that goal started right here in Torrance. The Shell hydrogen station on 190th is now open and is a landmark moment in fuel cell technology.
It is the first pipeline-fed hydrogen station in the United States, utilizing the existing hydrogen pipeline that runs along 190th right here.
And with gasoline averaging more than $4 per gallon, the need for an alternative fuel source couldn't be greater.
Today, the price of hydrogen is running around $7 a kilogram, and in the future, the Department of Energy projects that the price may get down to about $3 a kilogram.
Before you cringe at the thought of paying $7 a kilogram, consider this. The average consumer is currently paying more than $60 to fill their tanks. This hydrogen car only takes 6 kilograms to fill up and averages 300 miles to the gallon. And the savings don't just end at the pump.
With the regenerative braking, you're actually using the momentum of the vehicle and converting it into electricity. And that slows the vehicle down, which means you're using less brakes. So maybe you don't have to change your brakes as often.
Toyota and other manufacturers plan to release hydrogen cars to the general public by 2015. This station and others like it will provide crucial research to ensure they meet that deadline.
These stations represent a significant proportion of our hydrogen research and development program and allow us to evaluate a range of different technologies and learn valuable lessons about costs, consumer behavior, and how to safely store and dispense hydrogen at different pressures.
One of the major concerns with these cars is safety, but the thing to remember is safety always starts with the driver, and these hydrogen fuel cell cars have safety features in place that you might not even need.
The tanks are made out of carbon fiber, and there's a carbon fiber filament is wound over and over and over and over again to really make the tanks strong. In fact, they're so strong that if a bullet were to penetrate them, they'll stay intact. They won't explode and throw shrapnel everywhere.
You may not be faced with gunfire, but an accident can occur at any time, and these cars are designed with safety in mind.
At Toyota, we always know that there's an opportunity for the tank line to get damaged in a crash. Maybe the tanks get pushed underneath the car, you maybe get hit by a big rig and the line gets sheared off. Well, we know that's a possible failure mode. So what we've done is we've actually installed the shut valve inside the tank. Putting that shut valve inside the tank is maybe the safest place it could be. If there's any accident and the energy is cut off to that valve, automatically closes.
If you are in an accident, hydrogen cars may even make things safer for first responders.
The thing about hydrogen is if there is a leak of hydrogen, it would evaporate to the air immediately because hydrogen is the lightest element, as opposed to gasoline, to where if you have a gasoline spill, it's a petroleum product and it emanates vapors that are heavier than air. And what those tend to do is they tend to travel along until they find a source of ignition and flash back to the vehicle.
The hydrogen station in Torrance will serve as a model for other pipeline stations throughout the country, and the lessons learned here will have a global impact on zero-emission vehicles.
In closing, we believe that this first pipeline-fed station is a great accomplishment, but not the last for hydrogen technology. We believe it will be a model and on a daily basis show the capabilities of the technology and hydrogen as an alternative fuel.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jacqueline Shepard.
With the new Shell hydrogen station, Torrance will become part of the California Hydrogen Highway Initiative. The goal is to create clean air solutions and develop new technology jobs across the state. For more information, visit hydrogenhighway.ca.gov.
Well, here are some highlights from the most recent City Council meeting.
May 16th to May 20th is Bike Commute Week in the city, and May 19th is Bike to Work Day. City officials are encouraging residents to try bike commuting to work this week. It's not only good for your health, but good for the environment. Along with riding your bike to work, residents are encouraged to try different methods of transportation. Council reminded residents that most buses and trains have bicycle racks. And if you're planning to bike to work on May 19th, you'll be able to ride Metro and Torrance Transit for free. Simply bring your bike and helmet on board. City staff will also be passing out breakfast and T-shirts as a thank you in front of City Hall. Older Americans comprise the single fastest growing age group in the U.S., so it's fitting that May be designated as Older Americans Month in Torrance. Council asks all residents to honor seniors for all the work they do for the community. And a face familiar in council chambers was present to receive a special award. Former Mayor Dee Hardison received the 2011 Older Americans Award. And to underscore Hardison's commitment to public service, Mayor Scotto listed some of Hardison's contributions. She served 2 terms as mayor, 2 terms on the city council, was on the Parks and Rec and Planning Commissions, served on the boards of the Pediatric Therapy Network, Torrance Performing Arts Consortium, Torrance Sister City Association, Torrance Rosefloat Association, the LA County Beach Commission, and the Harbor UCLA Medical Alliance. Earlier this year, Hardison was appointed to chair the Candidates Election and Ethics Committee. And later this summer, Torrance Transit will be getting new fare boxes. The city is joining LA Metro and other agencies in the region to establish a universal fare system. Torrance Transit will keep their own fares, but commuters will soon be able to use a single card on any participating bus system. Federal and state grant money will be used for the new fare boxes and not general funds.
Students recently gave some relief to those concerned about the citizens of Japan. Drummers of all sorts gathered for the West High Japanese Relief Concert. Rockabilly bands played the open stage. And even though the evening was filled with music and fun, the reason for the event was never far from anyone's minds.
All my feelings and all my heart goes out to those who were affected by it.
And I'm glad we're doing what we can here in Torrance.
Actually, our guitar player is from Japan, so a benefit for Japan is obviously a good thing.
And all proceeds from the West High School concert were donated to the Red Cross.
Every year, the Schweitzer Learning Center honors those who help keep the South Bay vital. Smiles and Hugs helped kick off the 13th annual South Bay Women of the Year Luncheon. Schweitzer Center students Manuela Parra and Victor Farr were honored for their star-worthy work this year. But it was the Women of the Year who attracted the large crowd to the Doubletree Hotel. Amy Abramson was honored for her work as a volunteer. Lori Inadomi Halverson was recognized for her fundraising efforts as a children's advocate. Tara O'Brien for her leadership in both the private and public sectors, and Grace Ye for her community activism. The honorees all exemplify the importance of giving back to the community, and the commitment may be why their work produces such impressive results.
An unknown person said, "Don't ever underestimate the value of volunteers. Noah's Ark was built by volunteers. The Titanic was built by professionals."
For more information on the honorees and the Schweitzer Learning Center, go to schweitzercenter.org.
We often tell you about the extraordinary skills of the Torrance Fire Department, but now have a look at their skills in action. This week, a house fire on 186th Street starts spewing smoke, so a neighbor calls for help.
I was coming around the corner to see my friend Kathy, and I saw the black smoke in the back of the house, and I ran back there, and the flames were coming out the window, so I knocked on the neighbor's window, and I got them out of the house, and then we moved to his motorhome, and then it's called the fire department.
Torrance firefighters quickly respond. They go through the fence to the backyard, They also tried to break down the front door of the home with an axe. Next, they try a chainsaw to get inside. And once inside, firefighters go into the house and onto the roof. The cause of the fire? A boat that was dry docked in the backyard. When it caught fire, the fire quickly breached the rear window of the house. But thanks to aggressive firefighting, these first responders stopped flames from advancing further. An impressive job done by the Torrance Fire Department. And the fire department's skills aren't limited to just residential fires. Later in the show, we'll tell you how they prepare for the upcoming brush fire season. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you why Fern Elementary School is getting smaller.
But before we get to the current temperature outside, the 52nd Armed Forces Day celebration will soon be here. Each year, the parade honors a different branch of the Armed Forces.
And this year, the city is honoring the U.S. Army. Now, here's some information on the celebration starting Friday, May 20th.
Gas prices are still on the rise. Whenever you pull up to the pump, you may feel pressure to trade your gas guzzler for something more efficient. Reporter Leah Uko tells us more.
For Frank Campos, paying $140 to fill up his Ford Excursion isn't enough to convince him to get rid of his SUV.
I need my truck.
Though he finds $4.25 a gallon pricey, getting a smaller car is not an option.
For me to actually drop down to a little car, my kids all have to go to college and just be left me and my wife at home.
The soaring prices have many questioning just how high does the number have to be to make California drivers rethink their daily commute. One man says it's unlimited, but a few decades back, he wouldn't have the same answer.
I can afford this, but if I was younger, I would trade it in and get something more economical.
To do that, sacrifices and decisions would have to be made.
Every dollar drivers spend at these pumps is cut out of their other luxury expenses, and it's causing some of them to consider trading in their cars to get some of them back.
If you're going to give up your entertainment money, you're going to start diving into other money that you use for other things to offset that cost.
To Torrance's AAA manager, George Burkhart, that's the only way to continue driving a large vehicle. That and other fuel-efficient alternatives.
Make sure your tire pressure is adequate, so there's not a lot of drag on your vehicle, and maybe even consider carpooling. And maybe another option is public transportation.
One driver has already embraced these alternatives.
I walk more, I take the bus more. I don't try to drive as much.
With more passengers per car and fewer cars on the road, there may be less money spent at the pump, an option everyone can adapt to. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Leah Uko.
Thanks, Leah. If you like to bargain shop for your gas, go to LosAngelesGasPrices.com for the lowest prices per gallon in LA County.
As the weather gets warmer and drier, firefighters all over California will start gearing up for brush fire season. And that includes Torrance firefighters. Reporter Jennifer Wade takes us to their annual training at Columbia Park.
The training started by reflecting on past fires, like the 2009 Hacienda fire, and discussing what new tactics firefighters can implement to prevent burnover. The 50 firefighters in attendance gained hours of hands-on experience with hoses, tools, and safety shelters that are used strictly for brush fires. These are not tools that South Bay firefighters use when putting out house fires in the Torrance area.
Today, one of the
pieces of mandatory safety equipment we always carry when we're out in the wildland is our fire safety shelters. They are kept in a package like this. We usually wear them on our belt, and it's looks like a miniature tent that we would use to deploy and crawl into as a last resort should we be overrun by fire. Come out, pull our tab down. Give it to Jennifer here. She's going to grab your hand and open it up into the wind. Okay, now you're going to step your foot into it. Put your hand up. Okay, now with your other foot, this one, step back. Kind of like a dance move. You just step back into it. Step this one forward. Okay, now turn towards me. Hand up, high. Put it over your head. There you go.
While brush fires aren't a concern here in Torrance, the Torrance Fire Department protects the brush of its neighbors, including Palos Verdes, Pacific Palisades, and Malibu. The department is also part of a California Mass Mutual Aid program and will help put out large fires across the state.
If we can see the smoke, we're going to go ahead and commit to the fire.
Brush fire training takes place annually to help prepare South Bay firefighters for the upcoming fire season. This is Jennifer Wade reporting from CitiCABLE Channel 3.
Hey, thanks, Jennifer. Fire season typically peaks from September through December.
First, Hull Middle School and now Fern Elementary. That's the next school to undergo some major changes. And at Fern, it's also a chance to bring the campus and students together. Reporter Shantae Passmore explains.
The life of a 4th and 5th grader at Fern Elementary isn't like it is anywhere else. These students attend school across the way at Greenwood campus because there are simply not enough classrooms at the main school, which has everything they need, like the cafeteria, library, and computer lab.
We really take out anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes out of our curriculum time.
Currently, the school campus is divided by the street barrier, but after the construction is over, the school will be united again.
One of my first tasks was to work with the architects, the teachers, the community to get the school up and running from a design standpoint.
Measure Y is funding the new 2-story building, which includes classrooms and a multi-purpose facility. And with proposals, funding, and design, the process has taken nearly a decade to complete. Community support was readily available.
We're thrilled. We're so excited about the new construction. We've been waiting for it to happen, and so this is like the satisfaction that things are really starting now.
And what exactly are they ready for?
It is going to be monumental as far as our school community coming together as one. Our 4th and 5th graders have been on that side for more than 10 years.
Teachers, parents, students, and city officials couldn't miss the opportunity to throw some dirt around. The groundbreaking ceremony solicited clapping and smiling from the crowd. But are current students a bit disappointed that they won't be able to use the new buildings?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, but on the bright side, I have a sister, so I'll be able here to visit. But it'd be really nice to be on the campus instead of on Greenwood.
The construction is offering more than just new classrooms. It's bringing a sense of unity amongst the students. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Shantae Passmore.
Construction is expected to be completed late next year. You can check out a 3D floor plan of the building at fern.tusd.org.
Develop one new civic project that would involve Torrance students and describe how it would benefit the Torrance community. That was the 2011 essay topic for this year's Students and Government Day. 8th graders were encouraged to apply by submitting an essay of up to 150 words, and only a select few were chosen. Reporter Alexa Sita has this story.
Do not adjust your TV set. That's not the mayor. And these are not city council members. They're middle school students learning about careers in public service. As part of Students in Government Day, some student council members were briefed by officials on issues facing the city, while others saw the inner workings of important city departments.
I got to learn about the staff, what every person did, and all the equipment they used.
And early in the day, these future leaders began to understand the importance of their jobs.
The most difficult part about being the mayor was you have to understand what each section's doing and how they work together, and giving your opinions in like a wise, eloquent way.
Ashley Ross. General Services Director, Ann Park. Community Services Director, Emily Hemingway.
The culmination of all they learned came as they took their places in council chambers. Students listened intently as Mayor Frank Scotto and others gave advice on how to navigate a meeting, a job they would actually perform later that night.
As Councilwoman Natalie Tice leads us through some of the words of the inspiration after the flag salute.
Take a breath, make sure, slow down a little bit.
And with a little practice, the young council members and city staff got the hang of it.
This year's Fire Service Day will feature station tours and fire apparatus displays.
This is the 5th year for Students in Government Day, and the program will likely continue because students get to do more than just observe. They get to work as Torrance officials do, making local government seem more accessible.
I like Mayor Scotto. He's really nice.
And with that, this temporary mayor may have scored a future endorsement from our current mayor. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Alexa Sita.
Thanks, Alexa. 22 students were selected from the 900 that applied.
Ellison Onizuka was a NASA astronaut. He always aspired to share his love of science with young people. And while his life was cut short, his dream lives on. Reporter Jacqueline Shepard explains.
Students of all ages celebrated the 25th anniversary of Onizuka Space Science Day. El Camino College offered classes, robot demonstrations, and first-hand accounts of space exploration, all in honor of the first Japanese astronaut.
It was always very important to Al to return from flight and share his experiences with students.
On January 28, 1986, at 11:39 a.m., the Space Shuttle Challenger lifted off. 73 seconds later, the shuttle tragically exploded, ending the lives of 7 astronauts, including Ellison Onizuka, a sacrifice his colleagues still acknowledge more than 25 years later.
Ellison opened the door for us. It's for Japanese and also Americans and all the Asians saying there is a way to go up in space and do the good thing.
The Onizuka Space Science Day is held annually in Hawaii, Colorado, and Torrance. The program reaches over 500,000 students each year, and Onizuka's wife is determined to honor her husband's love of science, space, and exploration, one student at a time.
If we can manage to touch and impress just one mind, it is one mind more than we had yesterday.
And the program is succeeding. Stephen Lynn gained his interest in robotics after attending his first Science Day, and he says it's never too early to get started.
It's really fun to join a robotics team. There's programs from like kindergarten all the way to high school.
And much like Ellison Onizuka, for Stephen, this isn't just a dream, but a career that will last a lifetime.
I would like to work on drones. They don't have to be military drones, just any kind of drones.
After 25 years, founders still have one goal for the Space Science Day: to inspire students to reach for the stars. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jacqueline Shepard.
The Onizuka Space Science Day is held annually at El Camino College. For more information, visit elcamino.edu. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you how some students got the City Council to deliver them pizza.
And before the 5-day forecast, here's more information on the upcoming Armed Forces Day parade celebration.
If I ride, I will know the way the trees smell after the rain. I will grow a heart so strong that hospitals will take Tuesdays off. If I ride, road rage will turn into laughter, and oil tankers will haul chocolate milk. And I won't be a boy or a girl. I will just be a rider.
In Infinity Salon is doing their part to help the victims of the Japanese earthquake. Come in on Sunday, May 22nd between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And for a $25 donation, you'll receive a free haircut. For more information, call 310-792-0531 or visit infinitybeautysalon.com.
And the Torrance Sister City Association has a lineup of restaurants that are participating in Restaurant Wednesday. On Wednesday, May 18th, visit either Torrance location of the Loft, and all day long, the Hawaiian restaurant will give a portion of the proceeds from your meal to the Kashiwa Japanese Relief Fund. Restaurant Wednesday is happening through May and June, but in order for the donation to be made, patrons must present a special flyer to the waitstaff. To learn more and to find donation flyers, go to torrancesistercity.org. And finally, as we've been telling you, the city is gearing up for the 52nd Annual Armed Forces Day celebration. Some students recently showed their excitement to council members, but was it about the parade or the pizza? Reporter Vanessa Linares finds out.
To get kids excited for the Armed Forces Day Parade, Torrance Elementary School students participated in an Armed Forces poster contest, and the winner is right here at Arlington Elementary. This is the third year in a row that the City Council sponsors the Armed Forces poster contest. Katie Tashima is a third grader in Miss Iguchi's class, and she will celebrate her winning poster with a pizza party.
This one represents the Navy, this one represents the Coast Guard, this one represents the Marine Corps, this one represents the Air Force, and this one represents the Army.
Well, we had over 100 posters submitted to us, and what we were looking for was something that was original. And out of all the posters submitted, Katie's poster was the one that seemed to be the most original. It was all hand done, and the committee that selected it really liked her poster the best.
Here's the winning poster created by Katie Tashima. It was selected for its originality, simplicity, and representation of all the armed forces.
Oh, we were really excited. Ms. Iguchi had called us and said that somebody came in and told her that her poster won for a contest and didn't know what it entitled, but yeah, we were very proud of her.
There were no parameters to what the students could draw. They were able to use their creativity freely as long as they portrayed what armed forces means to them. The contest is a hands-on way to apply what the students are learning in class to connect with their community.
Well, I think it's important because they all live in the city of Torrance, and this is something that is a tradition here. So I just thought, since they're in third grade and we're learning about our community, and we tried to connect it with the social studies that they're learning, that it would be a good time to introduce this to them.
All the posters that the students submitted will be displayed on the fences of Fern Elementary during the parade. I'm Vanessa Linares reporting for This Week in Torrance.
Thank you, Vanessa, and that's going to do it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jin Chun. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.